Welcome to Watch and Learn. Today we're going to talk about quilting our surprise quilts. I'm Kim Sandberg, and today I've got
Denise Dowdrick
and
Christina Whitney.
All in the filming studio, and we are just clicking right along with this Surprise Quilt Along, and we're to the point where it's time to start thinking about quilting ideas. So that's what this month is all about, quilting. So we're each gonna give you an idea of kind of what our quilting plan is. All right, well, I think we should just start down at this end of the table and work our way down. What do you think?
Alrighty.
Christina?
I'm ready. Okay, so last month I showed how I quilted just my individual blocks.
Right.
And I said, okay, you gotta wait, there's more information.
Yeah.
So what I did was, once I finished quilting those blocks, I cut them out, stuck them in a puddle of water, not a puddle, but a bucket of water.
Gotcha.
To let that water-soluble stabilizer dissolve. So I was left with just the piece block and a layer batting that was all quilted together.
Okay.
The next thing that I did was I cut out a piece of backing, or I'm going to call it backing. It's not the real backing that you put on the quilt top.
Background?
Nope, that's another one.
Okay.
Mine had a lot of steps.
Backing. Oh, is this the backing?
Lining.
A
We'll go with lining.
Lining.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, so I cut out another piece of fabric, the same size as my block.
Okay.
And then I put them right sides together.
Okay.
And I stitched around,
Okay.
leaving a little opening, flipped them right side out.
Okay.
So now I had a nice finished edge with my block.
For each individual block.
So I did that for each individual block. So I had 5 little,
Okay.
we're going to call them pockets.
Presents? Present pockets?
Presents. So the next step for my quilting was I wasn't doing my sashing or anything.
Oh, right.
So I loaded my real backing fabric.
Okay.
I loaded the background fabric as my top and my batting.
Okay.
And then I did an edge to edge.
Okay.
It was called Fall Frenzy from Pro Stitcher Patterns. And I just let that stitch out that whole background.
Nice.
Then, here's where it gets fun. I took each of those little presents and I laid them on top of that background fabric.
Okay.
On my long arm.
Okay.
And I did my best to get them straight. Not perfect, but used some channel locks. I stitched both of the sides and the bottom, and I left the top open for my pocket. And that's as far as I'm going to go today. Okay. So I'm leaving the rest of it as a surprise.
Oh, I love how you're just drawing this out.
Suspense.
Oh, Christina's really, I know, you're really taking this surprise thing.
So invested in this project now. It's like, I don't care about mine. I just want to hear what you did next, Christina.
What did Christina do next? Okay, so next month during the live reveal, we're all going to get a chance to see what Christina did with her her present pockets.
Yep.
We're so excited. Okay, so my quilt, my table runner. So I've got the table runner sitting here. You can see that I have not quilted it yet, but I'm getting ready, and I wanted to do something fun for this. This is a table runner that I want to be able to use to celebrate birthdays. It'll be something special I can put out on birthdays. So I have, yesterday I spent some time in Designer. So if we take a look at the screen here, I've actually digitized some sayings here. So I have happy birthday, celebrate, it's your day. I don't know if I might come up with another fun phrase or two, but I'm gonna put those all the way around the outside border here. It's the reason why I made this border a little wider. I did a 3.5 inch, I cut it at 3.5 inches, so it'll end up being a 3-inch border. And then I think I'm gonna just do probably like some stitch in the ditch in the center. I was thinking maybe like a little ribbon candy here in the sashing, and call it good. I really want the words around the edge to be the pop. So that's what I'm planning on doing. And then binding, I have just some scraps left of the different colors of the presents, and so I think I'm just going to make a scrappy binding to put around it.
Cute.
So,
okay, really important question here.
Yeah.
With your words, are you going to quilt them in white, like white on white, or are you going to use colored thread or variegated thread?
Well, I hadn't even thought of that.
I was going to ask that, but
Yeah,
I was trying to control myself.
it's a good question. You know what? I'm not sure. I think what I'll do is when I get it loaded on the frame and I start quilting it, I'll probably experiment with a few. I hadn't even thought of that, but maybe finding a variegated thread that has some of the colors of my presents in here would be really fun just to do for the wording. I wouldn't do that, I think, for the rest of the quilting. I'll probably use like either maybe like a white micro quilter or a monopoly that will just blend.
But the words that you're taking the time to digitize, I think they deserve something special.
Something special. You know what? You guys have convinced me. I will take a look in the back before I start quilting and see what I can find in the variegated stash we've got in our back room. So yeah,
that's going to be so fun.
I think it's going to be really fun. And I've still got a stack of the extra blocks. And if I get ambitious, I'm thinking I'm going to make some placemats. So we'll see next month if I actually get to that. Because if I do the placemats, I'm just going to do probably like 3-inch border, top and bottom, and then maybe 4 or 5 inches on each side. And those ones, honestly, I'll probably just do like an edge to edge over the top of them because they'll get washed a lot. And so I'll want them to have a consistent quilting all the way through them. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see if I find time for that or not.
You'll make time eventually. Whether
eventually.
It gets done
True.
Right now, it's definitely going to be a fun project.
Exactly.
You can set a goal. Each birthday in your family, you get one more placemat done.
Ooh, okay. So that I would actually get them done in a year because the 4 of us, I've got my husband and I and the 2 kids. Well, I have to do one for the dog too. So there's actually 5. Yeah. So, you know. Okay, I like that. I think that's what I'm going to do. So perfect. Denise, what's your quilting plan for yours?
So I am working on the quilting plan, even though I haven't finished actually piecing my top. I have my blocks done now. Had a little wedding in the family. My daughter's gotten married, and there's just so much going on in life. So I took a break, but I'm back on track, and I'm working on the quilting plan. So as I'm piecing and pressing, I know how I'm going to quilt. So I got out my trusty low-tech here preview paper and a couple of Sharpies, and I just traced out some stitch in the ditch that I think I'm going to do to stabilize that block down first. And then I think I'm actually just going to do free motion and enjoy some free motion in my blocks. And I just kind of did this little swoopy little ribbon, kind of going through there, and going to come up in here and do maybe a little bit of continuous curve, little swirl. I don't know what I'm doing here yet, so I can audition some little swirls. Maybe I'll do some swirls in there. I could also do ribbon candy because Kim was just talking about ribbon candy.
Well, it is a ribbon, right?
I love
it's supposed to be a ribbon.
I think it's going to be ribbon candy.
I put ribbon candy.
Funny.
Yeah, me too.
And I love that. And I don't know what I'm doing in the background. I might do some edge to edge with Pro Stitcher in the background and just crop out my blocks. Might do some straight line. I don't know, but I think once I get this quilt laid out and the stitch in the ditch done, the background stuff will come to me. Maybe snowflakes. I have black snowflake fabric. Maybe I'll quilt snowflakes on it. So many choices. But I think I'm going to start with the blocks because those are the star of the show. And I do know whatever I quilt in the background because my fabric is black, I'm going to do my background fabric in black thread. But I think I'm going to throw some colors in here and have some fun. So
I was going to ask. You've got a wide range of colors.
I do. I have a very wide range of colors. So what I might do is just change back and forth between white and gold because of my little ribbons here. And maybe that's what I'll quilt the blocks in too. I don't mind doing some color changes, but I don't want to do 30 color changes for every single block. But I don't mind bouncing colors around a little bit. So we'll see. It's going to be a surprise. We'll see when we get there.
Imagine that.
I'm going to start calling every one of my quilts the surprise quilt.
Surprise! I love
Whatever comes out, comes out.
Here's the finished product. This is what I did. Speaking of a finished quilt, we've got Jen Eskridge's behind us, and she did a really fabulous edge to edge on hers with variegated thread. Talking about variegated thread. It's a great one. I believe she is planning on, this is a quilt that's going to get used, and so an edge to edge is always a great choice for a quilt that's going to get a lot of use. Wash, all of those kind of things. It just makes it nice and consistent. But she picked a fun variegated thread that just blended really well with all of the fabrics that she used in it. So I think that's it. Binding. Did you talk about what kind of binding? Do you have a plan for binding?
My
know you
plan
do.
for binding is to see if I have enough of any of my fabrics left, and if
Okay.
I do, that will be the binding, and
Gotcha.
if not, it'll be a surprise,
Okay.
like the rest of this quilt.
Gotcha.
So any thoughts on scrappy binding? Like Kim said, she might do scrappy.
So I was thinking, I have a tiny bit left from the blocks here and there, and I think I have close to enough of the background, the black background. So I might even just do little snippets of the colors here and there between longer lengths of the black fabric going around. So
be
we'll
cute.
see what I can pull off there, because I have determined I am not going to spend any more money on on fabric for the rest of the year. I've made a personal goal. I've let
Give
myself
you a
down
week.
a couple times already. I know, it's a weakness of mine. Oh, it's bad. But I am going to use fabric that I have already. I'm not going to buy any fabric to finish this quilt. So I've said it, you've heard it. Let's see if I can stick to that.
It is almost the end of November, so we'll see where we end up there. As a matter of fact, let's be sure and check in with Denise when we do the live and see if she stuck to her guns or not.
There's sales coming up.
I know. Well, you know, the best part is November 28th, that's right after Black Friday, so you could actually purchase after we do the live and then nobody would know.
No one would know. I would know. My husband would know, and he'll tell you to. And then I'm in big trouble.
So true, so true.
Yep.
And Christina, what are you planning on doing for binding for yours?
Well, mine's going to be kind of a wall hanging, so I wanted something that would frame the whole thing. Yeah. So my background fabric was a lighter color, so I decided I took one of the, it was like the chocolate brown in the ribbon, and did a binding in that fabric.
Nice.
And I didn't have enough in my stash, but luckily I had bought an extra set for our filming studio. So if you ever see in our background, we have like the nice little piles of fabric, and the chocolate brown's missing. That was me. I stole it out of the filming studio. But I had enough after that, so it worked out well. So it's good.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
So we can't buy fabric, but we can steal fabric.
Well,
Yeah, definitely.
it's already there. We're just being efficient, using what's on hand.
I like it.
Yeah.
Using from our stash.
I feel like I'll be safe now.
And with mine, since it is going to be a wall hanging, when I did my binding, I actually put a sleeve in at the same time.
Smart.
So that I can hang it easy.
Very smart, very smart. Yeah. You finish a wall hanging, you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to put the sleeve on it. It means I have to sew twice. Ugh.
Yeah, it's not like the label that you forget and you can just take a Sharpie and write.
I know, right on the quilt. Right.
Fabric marker, sorry.
Oh, it's fine. Admit you're using a Sharpie. We all do it. We all do it. All right. Well, we are really excited to see what you all do with your quilting ideas. So be sure and use the hashtag Handi Quilter and the hashtag Handi Quilter QAL. That's what we're doing, right?
Or is it HQQAL?
I can't remember. I think it might be
do
both.
both. Do both.
Do both. Do both. Hashtag Surprise Quilt Along. Any of the above. We will look for all of those. Be sure to stick around after the video and see if your quilt is being featured. We always pick a few quilts that have been on social media using that hashtag Handi Quilter to feature at the end of our videos. Be sure to give us a like and subscribe, and have fun quilting.